You have an amp, and then you got the other hardware, terminal, etc. It goes without saying, all of us who are in the DIY, who are passionate DIYers, we know that it offers a tremendous bang for the buck. Typically, 2x or 3x of what you invest is what a commercial product will give you in terms of, an equivalent commercial product will give you in terms of performance. What are the components? Unfortunately, here in India, there's an exception, and I'll come to that at the end. Subwoofer drivers are not freely available. We have to get them. Whether it is Sajid getting his Dayton 15-inch, whether it is Sunil, whether it is Santosh, whether it's me, whether it's Anil, we've all been able to get these from vendors there. Typically, the top US vendors are Acoustic Elegance, Dayton. There's another one called TC Sounds. Yeah. So there are plenty of guys out there. The problem is these things are damn heavy, and the cost of shipping is a real deal breaker. And when I say heavy, if anybody wants to know, just come up and just lift this and you know what I'm talking about. They are really heavy. They break your back. Fortunately, we have a solution. Or you can have one of these. This is a more conventional box. Subwoofer amplifiers are slightly different from a normal amplifier. In a normal amplifier, what you have is, it's either just a box with an on-off switch and a separate preamp, or it's an integrated amplifier with a selector switch, a volume control. I don't know what else most amps have. Subwoofer amps have got something else. It's got a volume control. That is common. What it has different are a variable crossover selection switch, and you got a phase 0 to 180. What do these things do? The variable crossover allows you to select the point where you want the subwoofer to perform. In other words, you could select it at 40 Hertz, 50, 60, 70, 80. And what that does basically is it allows the low frequency signals to come through. The other thing with these plate amps also is they have an active crossover, which Sunil will explain. Now you can have a separate active crossover like this, which is the kit, and couple it to another amplifier if you want to a conventional amplifier, or you go for one of these ready-made solutions which has all of it together. Until recently, these plate amps were not available here. This one is actually, it's an imported amp, but is sold here. We had to go through the route of getting amps from overseas to meet our needs, or in the case of people like Anthony, they would start from basics and try to develop an amp here. It's easier to get a ready-made component and put it together rather than to do it unless you have the skills, the experience, and the knowledge to make your own amp. Somebody was asking about passive radiator. This is how a passive radiator looks like. Basically, a passive radiator is not a speaker. It is not a port. It acts like a port, but in form factor, it looks something like a speaker, but it's basically a diaphragm with a surround. So when the air inside pushes, it gives. So that the surround is compliant, it moves. The problem with passive radiators is because they are not available in India. A passive radiator typically costs 70 to 120 US dollars, and then again you have this problem of shipping. So unless you can bring it in your bag, I don't recommend a passive radiator because it's not worth the trouble. But having said that, if you are able to get it, it's really nice because the sound when you have a sub with dual passives is different. If it's ported, you use your ports with the port trim rings. What are ports? Ports are basically pipes. I use standard PVC pipe which is used for sanitary applications. You just go to a shop, the guy will cut the length to you and you fix it. You can go high tech by getting those really nice imported ports, and on the outer side where the port is visible, you have something called a trim ring which just fits in flush and looks neat. It's really cosmetic. Terminals, MX has terminals. They come in square or round form, highly affordable, about 80-100 bucks a pop, not more than that. For this one we are using a round one, I believe, square one, but that's up to you, depending on what you want you buy. Then if you're using a sealed one, you might want to use stuffing, because basically what the stuffing does is it makes the box look bigger than it actually is. Typically how you use stuffing is there's a trial and error approach, because the fill factor is not a fixed fill factor upfront. You may put a certain amount and listen to it and see, and then you may want to increase the fill factor a little bit. So that is trial and error, and the materials you use are either polyester / synth, which you saw here. These are much safer. Fiberglass is messy to work with. Those fibers fly around. You got to use gloves, and also it's not that good in a home environment. Then you have hookup wire. This is simple. This is something which is very interesting. You can have a look at this later. At either side, we have mounted threaded inserts. So what you do is, you drill a hole, fix the threaded insert on either side, and the thread for mounting the driver doesn't actually lock into the MDF, it's actually locking into these threaded inserts. These are available from SP Road. These are really, really good. Here. Okay. If you see it, you'll understand what it's all about.
These are what are also called T-nuts, right?
This is another form of